Hello, welcome back to the BricksCascade Broadcast Network. I'm your host, Naomi, the BricksCascade here in Seattle, and I have been so excited after coming back from BricksCascade. As you know, last month I started a new segment called Builder Insights, and I had a chance to have Ms. Slow Brickda, who was on Lego Masters Season 2, and we talked about the hashtag Daily Brick Limit. Well, I wanted to mention that that was so much fun that I've invited some guests for today's show. And I think this is going to be a monthly segment where we invite different builders and we talk about their process. We talk about some of the things that they do to bring about these wonderful creations or these mocks or my own creation. And today I have the pleasure of inviting a few of the builders who had participated in this amazing superhero mock, which was the Spider Multi-Universe mock. Hopefully I got that right. We'll have them talk more about that. And I wanted to just say that I am so excited because I know that it takes a lot of effort to do a different kinds of collaborations. And this is a collaboration that went over multiple time zones and multiple forms of transportation. So we'll learn more about that when we bring our guests in. So please help me welcome. First, I'm going to invite you to the stream. We have Troy Anderson. Hey,
Hey,
Troy.
how you doing? Thanks for
And
having me on.
yeah, well, thanks for being on the show. And Troy is actually in the same time zone that I'm in. You're in Southern
Yes,
California.
yes.
And I know when I had met you, I was there with a couple of my friends, and we were in front of your mock for, I think, 15 or 20 minutes, just talking with you and with our next guest as well, Jesse Muller. Hey,
Hello.
Jesse. How's it going?
Good, good. I am reporting from Minnesota, so I'm in a different
Right.
time zone. And yeah, you're right. We had a crazy experience with our collaboration, to say the least.
Yeah, you could
Well,
say
I
that.
wanted to say that it was just so much fun having a chance to talk with the builders directly, which is part of the reason why going to a convention is so much fun, because not only do you get to see the models, you get a chance to talk with the builders, learn their story, find out more about what brought them to the convention to begin with. And I actually didn't get a chance to ask you both about why did you pick Bricks Cascade? So maybe let's start with you, Troy. Why did you guys start with Bricks Cascade? What made you focus on this particular convention?
Well, I think Mel had a history. He had gone in 2020, and he had gone as just like a Lego master, meet and chat with people, and he didn't get to take the time to display anything and
Mm-hmm.
hang out with the other builders and everything. And it was, I guess it was just perfect timing. It was kind of like we had been working on this for 2 years, I would say, 2 or 3 years. You would think, right, Jesse?
Wow.
Yeah,
We were planning on
I was
doing Chicago, Brickworld Chicago 2020,
Mm-hmm.
and we all know what happened. And then so we kind of put it on hold for a little bit. And Mel was also doing Lego Masters as well. His whole thing with that. So
Right, because
it
that
got
that
put
was
on
on the
hold.
down low because he
Yes,
couldn't say anything. But back then, yeah,
right.
that's a
I
lot of
like that
work.
little tidbit of knowledge with our relationship, though, that me and Troy and Mel
Mm-hmm.
were friends before he was on the show.
Right.
Right,
And we
And
had
right.
then
Well,
that
started
I'm
happened.
planning.
glad
We
you
had
said
started
that
planning
because
it
I was going to
before.
ask about how did the three of you meet. So I know that you decided on Bricks Cascade because of Mel, and I should mention Mel can't be on the show today. So if people are wondering where's Mel, sorry he couldn't be on the show today, but we wish him well, and if he ever wants to come on the show again, and the two of you as well, I'm really happy to have him. So Jesse, you were mentioning too that this whole collaboration, the three of you knew each other before you got on Lego Masters. So give us some
Yeah.
background about that.
Yeah, so we're talking 2017,
Mm-hmm.
A while
2018.
ago.
I was working for Brickmania at the time. So
Oh,
I
okay.
their headquarters is in Minnesota. So when I
Mm-hmm.
started to become a large AFOL, I
Mm-hmm.
was lucky enough to pull some strings and work for a Lego third-party distributor. So I worked for Brickmania, being their roadshow manager, and I was able to go to a lot of conventions. So at one of those conventions, probably Philly Brick Fest or Brick Fair of Virginia in the East Coast, I met Mel out there and saw some of his Avenger towers before, and just introduced and traded sig figs and put the notion out there that we I should jump into the story with Troy. Where I met Troy was Bricks LA, and that was another funny story where I knew he had an Avenger tower, and I brought a Sanctum Sanctorum to Bricks LA, and he brought a Sanctum Sanctorum to Bricks LA.
So you're big Doctor Strange fans too.
Marvel,
Marvel fans.
Just Marvel in general. Okay.
And we just kind of hit it off as AFOL community is very friendly, and I don't know if it was my decision, but I'm like, it'd be cool if all of us could collaborate and instead of compete against each other in a Marvel category. And the rest is history.
Well, one of the members in the chat, by the way, hi Remy, how's it going? He was really impressed because he saw you all working through the pandemic, and it's really cool that the build finally came together in person. So I guess since it was a 2-year project, you all knew each other because you met at different cons, and then who came up with the idea, or did you all collectively say, well, if we're going to work on something together, let's focus on Spider-Man? Because you talked about Doctor Strange, you talked about the Avengers Tower. What came to Spider-Man? Why did you choose Spider-Man?
I think it was because no one had really done it yet. No one was really focused on the end of the Spider-Verse movie. And I don't know if it was me or if we all collectively was like, that would be a great mock to do. We all decided Into the Spider-Verse was a great way to come together and, kind of like bring our own take on these different universes of Spider-Man. So it kind of just like all worked out. And, we all like to do city building. So,
I know we were doing streams like this and talking and building chats and just casual things to develop that relationship more across these different time zones. And when we decided, to brainstorm about what Marvel content, I know Eternals was on the horizon, and Troy has a cool Ego planet, and we almost went cosmic, but I'm really happy we settled on Into the Spider-Verse. Everyone's a big fan of Spider-Man. But this movie in particular was just an award-winning, and like Troy said, and still have not seen like a lot of people do anything from this show.
That's is true, surprising too. And you'll have to forgive me. I am a DC fan, as you can see from my Batman. But Spider-Man is my favorite Marvel character. So when you went with Spider-Man and Into the Spider-Verse, and I was just so enthralled, and I love the whole, backstory and the legacy of Spider-Man. And what's great about what you did is you took 3 different timelines of the Spider-Verse and put them together. And even the way you laid out the mock was in a chronological order as well, which was very, very cool.
Yeah, that happened a little bit by chance. You talk about it, you brainstorm. We, decided on Spider-Verse, and then we threw all those characters out there. Who wants to do noir? And Troy, I think, was the first to say.
Yeah,
he's all over that, right?
Oh, it was. Yeah, it was like I already had a vision in my head. I'm gonna do black and white. It would be a great contrast between the other two. So I was like, yes, I want to do that. So
and Mel's not here, so I'm gonna jab him a little bit, but he was already doing cyberpunk stuff.
Yep.
Oh.
So I maybe pushed him to be like, you should be the future and Spider-Verse 2099 and Penny Parker. And he had to do some research, and he talks about it on some of his he has a vlog for each day of the convention at BricksCascade.
Oh yeah.
on his channel.
I've been watching, I've kind of been stalking the three of you since we met. I've been kind of watching some of your old videos leading up to the convention, and they're a lot of fun because each one of you have a different take on it. So for example, with Troy and Agent Briquette, Alicia, I mean, you have the road trip, right? Driving up from Southern California, going up, and then Jesse, you had the train, getting ready to get on the train.
Yeah.
And then Mel and his poor fiasco with the FedEx box, just pretty much getting destroyed on the way over. Yeah. Which brings me to this other question too about, okay, so you all decided, all right, Troy's going to take Noir, Jesse, you're going to take the present, and then Mel's going to take the future. And how did you decide on the scale of the MOCs? Because I love doing city buildings, and I was curious about the skyscrapers. How many floors were those? I think they were, what, 10 or 12 floors?
I think Jesse's was, yeah.
Depends on the building. Yeah, I had actually had 11. But
11. Okay. Oh, good. I
yeah,
got the
some of them
range.
were a little scrunched. Like you should do a floor like 9 bricks high, I think, and I might have had 8 or 7 in there. And I don't know if that was,
though. You can do whatever you want. Yeah.
Yeah, mine was mostly all dependent on the Thor hammers. I bulk ordered 500 Thor hammers.
Right.
And I built them into the stonework on all 4 sides. So I had to stop doing levels when I ran out of hammers.
Right. Yeah. And I do have some photos for people, so we can talk more about the Thor hammers, because I was walking around the convention with 2 of my friends, and we were, when we got to yours, that was the first thing that he said was, "Oh my God, look at all the Thor hammers in that MOC." And that was really cool. Thanks. So the other question I have, and I know I'm going to get geeky here, is, so when you're building an 11-story building, are you using mills for your base? So the modular integrated landscaping system, or how are you making the base strong enough to hold all that weight?
Go ahead, Troy. Was that your decision? I know we wanted to do a mill standard.
Yeah, that was something that we had started from something that we wanted to do from the very beginning. I was doing it already in my city before we even started the collaboration. And, you know, it was a standard to where we were like, okay, this is something that we can follow. And, you know, we won't have to worry too much about everything lining up when we get it all together at the show. So that was the reason kind of why we went with that system, is because it made it a lot easier for us to collaborate, you know, because we're all, you know, spanned across the entire country. So we're not going to be able to get together, you know,
for the first time,
all the time and see if it's going to work out. It's going to be like a one-time thing. So, yeah, we decided to do mills, and, you know, it's very, very durable. You know, you can move it around. It's easy to travel with. So yeah, that's kind of
interconnecting with the Technic pins, that makes it a lot easier too. Yes. And it's funny. I have this debate with several people about whether to use mills or not on different things, and pretty much all the people I know who do skyscrapers, so Bevins Bricks, Cornado, now I can say you guys, that mills is really just the way to go for transport, for interconnection, for collaborations. It's just a really great standard.
Yeah, I think the buildings could stand alone on a base plate, but when you want to do more fight scenes and damage in a street, I also had another need to do 3 lanes. I wanted a parking lane in front of Visions Academy. Right. So when we're doing mills, you can brick, you know, not build the street
layer,
the lines, you know, like where the yellow line is and where the curb line is, however you want. So I was able to kind of push for a 3-lane road, which was unique.
See, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I hadn't noticed the 3-lane road, because there's just so much to take in with your build. And the other thing, and we'll get to the photos in just a minute. I know a lot of people are saying, we want to see the MOC. We'll get there. I promise we'll get there. But I also wanted to ask about and you'll have to tell me, I don't know the name of it, but it was underneath your main MOC. I want to say
the Super Collider.
I know that was Troy's.
The Super
What was
Collider.
the name of that collider? I want to say it's a collider.
Yeah,
Is that right?
They call it the Super Collider.
Okay,
in the
good.
movie, but I think it's somebody had come by, and I think it was one of the security guards at BricksCascade, and he was like, "Oh, that looks like the Hadron Collider." So it's probably based off of or inspired by the real Hadron Collider.
Oh, okay.
A particle accelerator to
it's like a particle accelerator type
atoms
type
around
machine.
Miles and miles of tubing. Yep.
So it's based on a real thing, but they just call it the Super Collider in the movie because it's superheroes. So,
well, I think Brick Literacy is like, get to the fireworks factory. It's like, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because I think a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? And definitely I wanted to mention that I wanted to thank Jesse for sending me these photos, because they were amazing to really capture a lot of what was happening. So I hopefully I can switch between my screens pretty well. And you can see this, right?
Yep.
Yeah, let me put this into, hold on. Let me put this into slide sharing mode.
There you go.
All right. So tell us a little bit more. This is just a really cool, it almost looks like you're Spider-Man together, like you're, or are you pointing at Troy and he's like, no, it's not me.
This? I don't even remember.
Somebody, it might even been your girl Alicia. We need to point at each other and do the meme where Spider-Man from different universes are pointing at each other. I'm like, right. That's what we did. Okay.
That's awesome.
So we're having fun with it there. That was excellent.
Yeah. All right. Now there's the Super Collider at the bottom. Now I'm seeing on my screen this stop sharing button. Hopefully you don't see that. Can you see the whole collider there?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. Okay, good. Yeah, so this collider, I just wanted to mention, I did watch your stream, Troy, about how you were using these railroad tracks, I think, or these monorail tracks to keep the structure together.
Curved train track, yeah. So I'd seen somebody use that before to build a spaceship, but they went all the way around 360 with it. So it was like an easy thing for me to go, okay, I'm going to use that because I know it's possible. Somebody's already done this technique or method before with a spaceship. So it was an easy choice for me to go that way. And just started building off those. So each one of those walls split into 3 sections.
Right.
So, and each one has its own leg at the back to hold it up. And then all you do is you build off those train track. I use 2x2 brackets, and then started just building these lines of brick and plates to kind of fill in the gaps and to hold each of the train tracks together.
Right.
And then I just stacked those panels, which are basically just 1x2 slopes and inverted slopes, and 1x2 Technic bricks.
Right.
And then,
and this is a good view too of the 3 lanes that you were talking about as well.
Yeah, above the collider you can see a single lane going to the right and a double lane going to the left. And the police vehicle is parked in front of the school, which has the purple building behind it. So that's kind of like a parking lane to drop off your kids.
Right. And I had to get out of full screen mode just so I could get back to the chat. So just if you're wondering what happened there. So yes, and that is a great shot, Brick Literacy. And the collider was amazing, Hooded One. Hooded One is in the Netherlands. So he would not have had a chance to see this in person. And the other thing I should mention is that this is the only time the 3 of you are displaying together. So
this particular collaboration.
So I know Troy's taking the collider apart already.
Oh, it's already.
And the buildings you may see, but maybe not all together like this. I'm keeping Fisk Tower. I'm probably going to go to Chicago with 7 different Marvel buildings later this year. and do my own city Marvel City. But yeah, as far as the Spider-Verse and the past and the present and the future, this is probably the
only time you'll see it. The other thing I was really impressed with is that the edging, because often when you see Mills builds, the edging isn't finished as well as you had finished it. And I will give you a heads up that we're in discussions with the Jurassic Park collab that we're probably going to go to Mills as well. That's something we're in discussions about. Yeah. But I noticed that all of you finished the edges as well, so that when you have it on display, it looks super cool.
Thanks. Yeah. Troy's pushing for that technique.
Yeah. I definitely pushed.
He's a perfectionist.
At the before the show, I was like, something we could do, to touch it up a little bit. We could do some edging and just finish it off a little bit.
Right. So here's a wide shot of the whole thing, because this one is a good shot that includes Mel's building on the far right. And this is interesting. And this was my friend Rob Ketcherside. He knows some kanji, and he was trying to read the kanji that was on the building. And the first character, he said, there's something, the first character, I don't understand it. And that goes back to Mel had to recreate this whole thing because it was pretty much demolished in shipping, right?
Yeah, actually, as a team, we recreated it. So me and Troy and my friend John and Alicia and Moto actually pitched in, and there were like 6 of us recreating those 2 buildings on the rights and the mills in front of it. So it was quite the task. So even the lettering had to be rebuilt. And structurally, so maybe it doesn't quite say camera shop, but Mel says it says camera shop. I don't know.
Somebody did at the show.
Well, Rob was really impressed with that, because he said just there's he was like, oh, I wish I was here. I could have helped you with the first character. But I think, for like, I can't read kanji. I just looked at it. I was just like going, wow. Because that is lit up for the whole time. And I do have some shots of this after dark when all the lights are on. But before I move on to the next slide, I also wanted to point out all the details with the cars that are in these universes. So the noir you can see with the trolley here, and then you have the motorized vehicles, with the cars. And then this part with this like hovercraft on the far right. That was the coolest thing.
Yeah, Mel had to do flying cars because he's in the future. Yep. And then, the center, I've got the present day, just standard Mills, really, city streets, 3-lane road, though, was kind of special. And if you see the noir picture closer up, Troy did an awesome job of incorporating a trolley and snowy traction, like tracks.
Let me see if I have a couple different angles. Maybe that's a better shot right there.
Yeah, see all the white lines in Troy streets?
Oh.
That's snow where the cars don't drive.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, so that was something I didn't initially plan on doing. And I was, I got inspired from the comic books. So I bought the graphic novel for Spider-Man Noir and read through the comics. And there were some strips where they had scenes of buildings and it was snowing, and there was snow cover on the buildings. So I was like, that would be a great way to break up all the gray and black in the scene. So I went full on snow.
And you have all the details here on the buildings. And now there's a little bit of color here. Is this because you were doing the transition between noir and the present?
Yeah, so we had all planned to do a glitch, a Spider-Verse glitch that kind of happens in the movie as the collider is colliding all of these universes together. So that was a great kind of divider between each other's universes. So that was kind of like the separation between noir and my small little bookend, which was Spider-Ham. So you can't forget about Spider-Ham. So that was a good transition from
now
black and white to color.
You have a little looks like a brick head in front here too.
Yes, so I made little brick heads for each universe too.
To like just get ready to go into the next universe.
Right.
That's awesome.
To kind of break it up. So.
Okay, let's see what I have next. Okay, here, this is good. I put these in a good order. So this one is a close-up of yours, right, Troy?
This is Jesse's and Mel's right here.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. You did Noir. I'm sorry. Right. So yeah, so Jesse, right. Tell us a little bit more about like you were talking earlier about 11 stories. And then I don't know if I can zoom in. I can't zoom in on
I don't have close-up shots for you. Sorry about that, but maybe people can check us out further at our websites and stuff for more details. But that tall building, 11 stories, is another staple from the movie, which we needed to have. The collider was one thing we wanted to do, and the collider's underground. Right. And the building directly above it is Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin's tower. So like a Trump tower, I have Fisk Tower looming, above everything else. And it's got this really nice banquet hall with chandelier lights on the top. And that's another scene pulled directly from the movie. But yeah, that's that. So we needed that tower to kind of tell the story, to relate to the movie Into the Spider-Verse. And in the present day, there was also a big part of the movie was Miles Morales getting his powers and struggling with the day-to-day life at school. So the school scene had this really cool architecture on the middle building, or the one with the lavender, the gray and the red.
The lavender front and all of the rainbow here.
Yeah, so there's like 4 different structures there, but it's one building. Sometimes they'll take the facade of a train depot and keep the facade of an old, historic.
And I think this is a connector too, right, between the two buildings.
That's a skyway, yeah.
Is that kind of also a nod to the architecture in Minnesota, because they do that a lot there too?
A little bit, but they definitely show it in the movie. They drive by and there's a skyway there, and it's just like that as far as architecture. And that was a neat concept to bring my buildings together as like a cohesive thing, and a challenge to match that, 2 levels up.
Right. Well, I also like how you have this facade here, which is a little bit like an older architecture style, and then it goes more modernistic on the backside.
Yeah, you see that a lot these days. They'll build a modern building, and keep one historic element. So I think that's what they did with this building. And I had a lot of lavender, and figured it out for the rest of it, and took some liberties with what maybe the top building looks like Art Deco or something. So thanks. Wow. So yeah, that one's I'm really proud of that one, just because it stands out.
It's real. I hope you keep this too. I know you said that some of these buildings are already dismantled and such, but I hope you keep this one.
Yeah, I would show it to you, but I'm not at home. But it is reassembled at home right now.
Yay! Good.
That has a beautiful feature where you can pull the front of that building off, and he did a beautiful interior on that too.
Oh,
yeah. If you haven't seen it yet, go to Beyond the Bricks video and check it out, because it's awesome.
Okay, yeah. And I have my last slide in this slideshow is how you ended up meeting with Beyond the Brick, and they have a feature, I think, of this whole display, right?
John takes great footage, so if you want those close-up looks, actually the best footage is from Beyond the Brick.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. And then can you talk a little bit about Mel's building too, over here on the right?
Yeah, so he did Penny Parker and Spider-Man 2099, so they kind of both fit in that futuristic era. So he kind of did his own thing, I think, kind of like what I did. Kind of got inspired by, dystopian movies like The Fifth Element and Blade Runner. So he kind of took his inspiration and put it forward into these buildings here. And I think he was looking at concept pictures of futuristic buildings too. So yeah, that first one was supposed to be Penny Parker. He's also got that little Tokyo Sanctum Sanctorum kind of nestled into the center there, which I kind of think I was like, hey, you should put a Tokyo Sanctum in there. So he ended up doing that, and
of course.
It was really cool.
Some portal for you can have like a cameo of Doctor Strange showing up somewhere, or Wong.
Yep. Jesse's got one on top of his Visions Academy. So yeah, we were definitely pushing a little bit for that too.
I just noticed too in these photos. You notice how the poster in the back, the superhero poster, you have Spider-Man here.
Right there, yeah.
When I saw the earlier photo, I thought, here, let's see if I can go back. That one, I thought he was actually on the tower. Just the camera angle.
That's funny.
Wow, that is pretty funny.
We really lucked out with our theme coordinator. Props to Jason Vaughn. He was really helpful.
Jason was awesome.
And we just lucked out, I think.
And I know this one's a little pixelated, sorry, but it's just the way PowerPoint brought it in. But here's a close-up, and this is the segue into the After Dark photos, where we see the whole city lit up. And you can see the light. So the lighting, my question for you, Troy, is the lighting here. There's some lighting here with this window, but you also have, it looks like some track lighting on the bottom.
Those were actually light boxes that my new friend Brett Hooper, who is a local, I think, in Portland.
Oh yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
I think he's moving though. I think he's moving out of Portland.
Okay.
At least that's a rumor I heard.
Brett was kind enough to message me on Instagram, and found out that I didn't have lighting for the back of my walls, and he offered to bring some of his lighting that he uses for his photography and video to light it up. So that I was really thankful for him that he did that for us. So
well, that goes back to what you were saying about the AFOL community is just so nice.
Yes.
You know, overall.
Yeah. Especially
you do have a couple of jerks out there, but thankfully they're in the minority, right?
It's funny that it's going to be rare that this crazy condition that we're all living through and hopefully getting through brought us closer to people that are out of state and like you, Naomi, and then you see them at an event and get to meet them face to face. So it was really.
You weren't following me before the convention, were you? Because I'm like really small potatoes in this whole world.
Oh no, I was following you before.
I think I was following you too.
Actually. Oh, okay. Well, thanks. I appreciate
on Instagram. That. I don't know about YouTube, but Instagram, yes.
Right. Well, yeah, probably Instagram for sure.
Took a video of him hunting Lego Masters. Lego Masters in the wild, and he got a shot of me in there. And he goes, there's Brickanista. You thought she was in Arizona, but she's actually here. I had to go to Arizona for a family emergency, and I had only 3 weeks to prepare for BricksCascade when I got back. It was crazy, but that's a different story. But let's go to the lighting here. This is, I think, the After Dark section of BricksCascade was one of my favorite times. First of all, the public was gone. Not that we don't like the public, but it was a more intimate setting, and that you could spend more time with the builders and learn more. And this might have a better shot of also some of the hammers.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's still a little too tough to see.
Yeah, I wish I could zoom in on this, but this is PowerPoint, so it's not letting me zoom.
No. It's something
you got like 8 hammers in between, right? 8 hammers each in between the little floor.
It's like the 2 columns in between the 3 windows.
Right here.
Yeah, those are all hammers.
They're hammers, and
the top side of Mjolnir is facing outward like a stone block because it is made of stone. So I was like, well, what if you use the stone of the hammer to do stonework? And my original intent was to do an X mansion, but it found a new path here.
This will be one of those, and I hope Tips and Bricks picks this up, because you know how Tips and Bricks does unique types of techniques that builders are doing. I hope they pick this up, because this was, well, though I must say the Thor hammers, that must have cost you a lot to get, what, 500 Thor hammers?
Yeah. I don't remember, but it
yeah, that I can only imagine, first of all, scouring Bricklink to get as many of these Thor hammers as you could, and finding 500. That must have taken a while too. But I wanted to ask you about the lighting here on this facade, because it's so beautiful and bright. And is that a set of lights that you have that also kind of interplay with the back lighting too?
Yeah, I added lights on that one on the floor. I just brought them with me. I have a company here in Minnesota called Brick Stuff, and Brick Stuff does third-party lighting for Lego purposes, and they're really brilliant. So I added those lights, not knowing exactly how it would look actually, but it really did turn out, especially that facade showing through.
It is just gorgeous, and it also it's nice because you can see the minifigs that are in front of the building, and it gives them a neat glow, and it makes everything pop. It really inspired me to think about what we could do more with lighting. And you mentioned Brick Stuff, and I've used some of their things before, but I must be like a barbarian when I put things together, because I always pull too hard on those connectors.
The wires are just small enough that you could, if you're careful, like place Lego through and around them. But if you're not careful, or
if you're a little too rough with the wires, then you end up having to screw all over.
I always give him a shout out because he's got really cool stuff, and he's local for me.
Definitely. Some of the Jurassic Park guys are using Brick Stuff as well. Now, here's I just want to point this out, since we talked about it before. That's the portal, right above the facade. And is that Doctor Strange you have over there?
Yeah, you can do a ring of fire with Lego fire pieces, but you have to have the old pieces. The new fire doesn't have the little post that interconnects into all the little flames. So I'm sorry for people on that technique, but the technique of making that ring of fire can only be done with old Lego fire.
Okay. I'm going to just check the chat. So let me get out of this mode real quick. That's the only problem when I use PowerPoint, is that I can't see the chat at all. So, hey, Lena Inverse, how's it going? And okay, I caught up. And Joel Marbella's here. Yes, it is the AFOL community coming together, definitely. And Hooded One says you could never go wrong with lavender. We have a little sub-theme on the Brickanista Broadcast Network called Lavender Lug. So you are now an honorary member of Lavender Lug because of that. It started with Debo Bricks.
Half the building is lavender.
Yeah,
I didn't think I was going to be able to do it, because the bulk of what I had were the 1x8 bricks. So to be able to do a couple of the corners and the cutout, like Troy said, you can remove that gray facade and see the inside and where the windows sit, was really tricky for me.
I bet. So Joel Marbella asked, did you know Oscar Isaac is the voice of Spider-Man 2099?
Yes. So
I did not know that.
I didn't know that.
Spider-Man 2099, his real name is, like Peter Parker is Spider-Man. His real name is Miguel O'Hara, so it's a good casting for his demographic. And Oscar Isaac is doing super good on Moon Knight right now, so I'm pretty happy for him.
All right, here's a good question. How do you travel with your Mocs?
Yeah, that's something we could get into.
Bubble wrap, cling wrap, and contain it.
Right. Well, that's why if you go to Iceberg Bricks' channel, he will talk about how badly damaged the FedEx box was. So I think he had bubble wrap things and put packing, those little puffs, into there. And it didn't matter because it was just destroyed. Okay, here's a really good question from Brick Literacy. Did you decide on what the next collab will be? Why don't we hold that question
until
we finish the slideshow? But I am curious myself. Why don't we do that? Because we're almost done with the slideshow. I'm going to go back to the slideshow because I know that there's a couple of really good photos that people should see. So I'm going to go back to full screen mode. Okay. So here's another close-up of the noir section, and you can definitely see more of the snow here. So thank you for sharing that detail.
Yes.
And I also like this side sign that is...
Oh, that's actually a different display.
Yeah, oh, is it?
Somebody
oh my gosh. You know what? It looks like one of those signs that would be on the side of a building.
I almost did that.
That's I'll give another shout out. That's Little Scrap on Instagram. Little Scrap he did his own in Spider-Verse, and that's the Madam Web and the Habitat stack of Spider-Verse.
Okay. I'll have to go look at Little Scrap's Instagram page and look for that.
But yeah, Troy used all black, white, and there was no color on that side of the layout.
On this side, the color comes here. Well, this technique is nice too, on the top of the water tower.
Yeah, that's actually a technique I wish I would have done better on, but thanks anyways.
Oh, we're always our own worst critic, right? When it comes to our art.
Troy did something
is this
that
a little hot dog stand that you put up here too?
Yeah, that was my only Spider-Ham building in the whole thing.
Okay.
And that was actually based off the restaurant that he goes to at the end of the movie to get a hot dog. And so I recreated that as a building in Lego.
It's awesome.
And
then you have a little, is that a Scooby-Doo van behind it?
That's actually part of Jesse's right there. That's kind of merging into Jesse's over there.
But I was thinking of Troy and thinking Scooby-Doo and Spider-Ham was getting close to that theme and, you know, older cartoon. And so it went together. So I put him on that side on purpose.
Okay. And I think that's a Fabuland character. Is that a Fabuland character right here?
Yep. So it was supposed to be, I was trying to make it more cartoony. So that's the that was the whole premise with Spider-Ham, is like, he's more like a cartoon. So I was trying to incorporate all these different, you know, mediums of that Lego has done in the past. And I thought Fabuland would fit perfectly. That's really the only Fabuland character I have. So
I have to ask, so did the Monkey Kid Pig get into that MOC as well?
I do not have any Monkey Kid yet, so no, it did not.
Okay, so it sounds like we need to get you a Monkey Kid pig.
Yes,
to add to that.
He would work great for either the cook maybe in there or
Porky Pig too, and Petunia Pig.
Chef hat.
Oh, you know what? I do have some Looney Tunes now. I probably should have threw those in there. Yep.
So yeah, Porky Pig and Petunia Pig would be really good customers for that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I love this detail too about how you position the car and how the snow is underneath the tracks. Just really, really nice detail.
Yeah, I really wanted a big contrast between Jesse's and I's, because I already knew the Mel's was going to be pretty contrasted with Jesse's because he was going to be doing the Greeble roads in front. You know, he wasn't going to have a street. He was going to have like this, you know, textured kind of like technological roads. So I really wanted to do something that would distinguish mine from Jesse's. So adding the snow on the roads and
it's beautiful. It was really nice. And then kind of segueing to what you were saying about the roads. This is a good shot of the different roads and how they lead into each other. And you were talking about the greebling on the far end where Mel's is. And was he trying to kind of depict clouds so that they're hovering over?
No, I think he was just trying to do like something like you would see on the Death Star.
Oh,
you know, that kind of thing, because all the cars are flying in the future, so you don't necessarily need roads.
Right.
To quote Back to the Future, where we're going, we don't need roads.
And this is a really good shot of the 3-lane road that you were talking about earlier too.
Yeah, there you can really see it. You can do the yellow line. I did a yellow curb tile that kind of gave it more definition. And it's a weird angle, but it really looks good from there. I think I was trying to get the whole superhero sign in the picture.
It's okay. I think that I like these top-down shots too, because it gives you another perspective of the building. And I think the other thing this shot does is it shows you the lighting up here a little bit better on the top of this building.
Yeah, there's 3 glass chandeliers up there.
Wow.
It's quite fancy.
You can see it better from this angle than you did from the others.
Yeah, there's some really cool Easter eggs in there from the movie. Waiters wearing Spider-Man masks and all kinds of spider web slingers all around, and such a fun.
And this is why it's so special, because as you mentioned, this is the only time the 3 buildings or 3 sets of buildings are all going to be together at a show. And if you didn't make it to BricksCascade, you really only have the videos and these kinds of interviews to learn more about it. So that's really just a special mock and collab that you did.
Thanks.
And there's my last shot where you had a chance to be interviewed by Beyond the Brick, which seems to be, if you get interviewed by Beyond the Brick, then you're legit, right?
They do a good job of covering a lot of equal smaller mocks, I'd say. So I wouldn't put it out there that, but yeah, you feel like you made it when you're on their channel.
Well, one of the things that I was so excited about is I watched their review of all of the different, their tour around the show. And Joshua did a shout out for my ramen shop and dojo that I had. It's like an 11-second clip, and I'm going to put it on probably YouTube Shorts or something, but it was just, I was like, oh my gosh, I wasn't even there, and he did a shout out of my building.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They look at everything and are very fair on their
and mine was 16 by 32, but it was part of a little mini city that I brought. So, and it was a lot of fun to be part of that. So it sounds like Lena agrees that I'm legit now. Yay, I made it. And thank you, Brickworm. I'm glad to have you here. Okay, so we have a couple other questions that came in here. All right, here's a good one. How long did the train ride take from Minnesota to Portland?
It was a 36-hour train ride.
Wow.
So I got on at 10 p.m., slept, went a whole day through North Dakota and Montana into Washington, slept again, and woke up as we're approaching Portland.
Wow.
So I had a sleeper car, which was really nice. I'd recommend the train if you want a new way to travel and see the countryside, because you get to just basically look out the window a lot.
Yeah. My parents did a Chicago to, I think, Reno trip, and it took them 3 days. And but they also said that it's a little bit claustrophobic sometimes, because you really are in the train the whole time.
Yeah,
I think they let you out to do a smoke break every now and then, and maybe you get 15-20 minutes and then back on the train.
Yeah, and it's you're rocking and rolling a little bit, so it's a little tough to sleep if you're a light sleeper. It might be rough. But I had a good time, and one of my friends came with, so we were able to go dine in the dining car together. And,
oh, nice!
And it was like one of those things you got to kind of put it on your bucket list and say that you've done it at least once.
Right. Yeah, I think Lena, Brick Literacy was saying, "Dang, we need more high-speed rail."
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not gonna be for a while based on how things are going.
Yeah, because you're also stopping at little stations along the way, picking up people, dropping people off. And,
right.
Anyway, it was planes, trains, and automobiles for the Spider-Verse this time.
And apparently, Brickworm said that they used to have park rangers present info on the Lewis and Clark Trail on that route that you took on the train.
Yeah, I'm not sure if, you go right through Glacier National Park, and there is some information on the train. You're kind of on your own, but it is a historic route, and just an ironic twist to kill time. I was playing Oregon Trail game on my phone, so.
Oh, well, that's a good way to also learn about the places that you're traveling through.
Yeah, so I was kind of learning through that, but yeah, what a great scenic route. It was the Empire Builder Amtrak that I was on.
Right. And then Troy, you and Alicia were part of the road trip. And one other thing, if you'll have to tell us about the Voodoo Donuts, because you went through that on your stream as well.
Yeah, we did a little video on that, kind of like a vlog thing. But yeah, we traveled all the way from the Los Angeles area all the way up to Portland. We stopped a couple times, I believe. One in, I believe, I'm trying to think where it was. But it was on the way up to, we visited one of Alicia's friends and then stayed the night there, and then continued on our way up the 5 freeway, and stopped again in a town called Ashton. Had a sandwich, and then from there on continued on up to Portland, and then on our way back we came down the 101, on the coastline more.
Oh,
and
nice.
Stopped in Astoria, which is where they filmed the Goonies movie.
Oh,
so
fun.
we went up we went up to the pathway where the Goonies house was. We didn't go up there, but we traversed the neighborhood a little bit, and so that was really interesting. A nice little stop on our way home after the convention, so it was cool. She drove the entire way.
Well, I noticed that she was driving most of the time, so you answered my other question. Is that
you
were doing the video,
but she wanted to drive the entire way, so yeah,
wow.
She gets a little anxious when she's not driving, so I was like, okay.
So a couple people are talking still more about the train, right? About 2,000 miles from Chicago to Portland on that route, the Empire route that you were talking about. Right. And Hooded One says, train is a cool way to travel. I did a train vacation long ago, traveled close to 5,000 kilometers.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah, you gotta try it. It's different.
Not just traveling on a train, but traveling on a train with Lego.
And
that's the most interesting.
Yeah, I had 3 big luggage containers just full of my Mocs.
I was just going to ask you about, and it goes back to earlier about the packing. So with all the bubble wrap and everything that you did, when you got to Portland, how intact were your Mocs by the time you got to Portland?
1 out of 3 had damage. So
that's not bad.
Not bad. Yeah, 2 out of 3 were pretty much solid. 1 got scrunched, which kind of impacted, the way I packed it for several of those Thor hammers and whatnot. It's just, and they were just columns, so it was just a matter of rejiggering the pieces and getting it stable enough to stack again. So not bad. On the way back, it was a different suitcase. So rebuilding it at home, was more trouble with Visions Academy.
Right. Well, that one is such a special building. I'm glad you kept it together.
Yeah, that one is super special because I have another thing that happened at the show that's worth mentioning. When I was meeting the guests and kind of working like you were doing with the Jurassic Park, telling people about the builds and telling people about what part the movie or what, what came in to using all the dinosaurs. I was sitting there and met the creator of the comic book character Miles Morales.
Oh, he was there?
He was there. His name is Brian Michael Bendis. And he comes to me and says, hey, I created Miles Morales. I really like this work.
Oh, my gosh.
And I was like, is this real? Because, I didn't.
Oh, how surreal is that?
Yeah. I had to, look him up and, yep, that's his face. And that's who I met. And, yeah, he's the creator of Miles Morales. So
you should have him on your show.
That would be crazy. He does.
You should just invite him and say, hey, would you be on my YouTube show? That's what I did with you two. Because I asked, I said, I have this small YouTube channel. Can I interview you guys?
Yeah, for me though, that's like I met Stan Lee. I don't know that I would, like approach the like a comic book celebrity of that caliber, but he does seem a very social media presence. So possibly he could do that.
I think he should.
But I definitely follow him now and see all his little posts. And he shared, so we did a selfie. And he's got my stuff on his page and vice versa. It's amazing.
You should just ask. All he could say is no, right?
Right.
And then you could have him on your show and talk a little bit about and ask him about the whole creation of the character, etc. Now here's a question from the chat. Did you meet anyone in person for the first time at BricksCascade? So Jesse already answered a portion of that, but anybody else that you met for the first time there? I guess we met in person for the first time there, the three of us.
Yeah, I want to say, hopefully I'm not talking too much, Troy, but like a lot of the people were people I met virtually first, and then you see them. But people I met for the first time, there's like all kinds of mock builders. There was a kid who did like a T-fall that did these steam trains. I'm in a Lego train club, so I talked to him about his steam trains. Can't remember his name right now because it was like first time I met this person. So there were a lot of people with cool artwork and pirates and castles. Oh my gosh, my favorite was that Arabian castle.
Was ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
Pirates and Castles,
Pamela really Henry and her son.
So I don't know that I was following them.
Adrian,
before.
Maybe.
We talked to them and got the down low on that story. And
that was an amazing mock.
They deserved all the awards at that show because that was my favorite for by far.
I voted for that too.
Yeah,
that was my my People's Choice Award.
Yeah.
How about you, Troy?
Yeah. I picked that one instantly. It was a no-brainer. It was the no-brainer. Definitely.
But anybody else that you met at the show for the first time?
Oh yeah. Let's see. I met Mark briefly, Mark Cruikshank. I met Jake Sadovich, Paul Hetherington. That was one person that I was really looking forward. He's pretty much my favorite brick artist out there.
Not only did we meet him,
we had it, and he invited us out to have some drinks with him at a tiki bar. He's really into tiki bars, so him and his significant other and I can't remember his other. Help me out, Jesse. Who's the other?
Martin or something. Our group met his group at a tiki bar, and we had a few drinks. It was awesome.
Which is appropriate for Paul Hetherington since he did that Tiki Madness mock a couple years ago.
He's really into that, and so we had a really personal, private time with him, which was really special for me. Yeah, it was great. So.
Well, especially when you get an invitation like that, you can't say no, right? It's like, Paul Hetherington invited us out.
It was casual. Everyone, like I said before, everyone's so nice and inviting and welcoming in the community. So, I don't put him on I've met him before, so but his stuff is amazing.
Yeah.
And others like Brick Huntress, Kate, Hunter, and Roger, Lego Veteran Dad, were high on my list to be the first ones to kind of go up to and say, finally, we can
meet in person,
shake hands and give hugs and hang out. Just walking the vendor booths and stuff together was a fun time.
Yeah, I got to
Brick
meet Modular in person.
Just wanted to mention that. Yeah, about the Bendis story. That it was pretty crazy. He was just randomly there.
Yep. Go to Michael M. Bendis Brian M. Bendis. He how crazy, like meta, like is the artist complimenting me on my art of his character, like mind blown.
Right. And I'm sorry to interrupt you, Troy. What was it?
Oh no, I was just mentioning more people that I had met. Moto, I've talked to Moto. We've built with Moto on streams before, but I'd never met him in person. Doc Sampson, anybody that knows Doc?
Oh, of course.
That was a crazy moment for me and Mel because we were busy building at the table, and here comes Doc Sampson, the Whatnot, right behind us, trying to get our attention, and we turn around and he's there, like in real life, and
he creeped up on you guys.
That's crazy.
That's what I was talking about. He was hunting or looking for Lego Masters in the wild,
Yeah, and we had
I
our
think you're
masks
in
on,
that
so you couldn't
video.
really see. You couldn't really see how surprised we were, but we were like really surprised to turn around and see Doc there
Doc
in
Samson,
person. So it was like
right in
that
the
was a crazy
fluff.
moment.
In the
Yeah,
fluff.
in the cloth.
How
Yeah.
funny. Yeah, and I also wanted to do a shout out to you, Troy, because we were talking about how nice Lego people are, and it was really shocking that one of my friends had her sig fig stolen. And you were there when this happened, and she was really distraught, and she was upset, and you and Alicia were just so kind to her. And you first thing you asked her was, "Are you a fan of Agents of Shield?" And which was kind of random because this poor woman, she's like really upset about losing her sig fig, and so she was a little surprised, like, "What are you talking about?" And then you just said, "I'd like to give you our sig figs," and you gave them to her. And her name's Diane. She goes by Spunky Bricks, and she ended up getting her sig fig back. By the way, I don't know if you know the story, but she did get the sig fig back, and I'll tell you more about that off screen. But I just wanted to say that was like a moment of pure joy and kindness that shows you what the Lego community is about. So I just wanted to do a quick shout out to you and Alicia for that, because that was just very, very sweet of you to do for her. And I know that it's a little bit of ugliness that happened at the show, which was kind of behind the scenes, but that's why I was like, there's still joy in this community. We can still appreciate what we have here.
Yes.
I think it's amazing that we can all put our stuff on display and, like, you know, walk away and not really have to supervise it too much.
Yeah.
And people are genuinely pretty honest about not touching, let alone anything worse. So
Yeah.
if you're timid about going to a convention, and maybe leave your valuable figures behind, but I wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't lose any sleep over it. It's
Yeah.
very rare that something
It's
like
so
that.
rare. And and long story short, this individual in question who took her sig fig will not be coming back to BricksCascade. So yeah,
We bring
I'll
our,
tell you
like,
more off screen. But
At
I
least
did
they
want to
figured it
say
out.
that act of kindness, though, Troy, and I sent Troy a separate message, and I just said, you're the real deal. This is something that we love about this community, that people reach out to each other and they're kind, and they always want to make people feel better, right? Regardless of what situation they're in. And I think that's why we're artists. That's what we do, is we create art to bring joy to the world. So I wanted to thank you so much for being on this show, and I hope I get a chance to interact with you some more at future conventions. So this goes back to the last question that Brick Literacy asked. What's next? What's the next collab for the two of you and Mel? What are you up to next?
I know we
Jesse?
heard that question, like we were asking ourselves that question almost as we were, hanging out together. And I was like, wait, let's just get through the weekend. We can talk about, let's just enjoy this moment. It's a long time coming for this collaboration. So, and I know you're getting to it at the end of your show. So we put it on pause. And Troy only has one comment, and that's about as far as the discussion has gone. Go ahead, Troy.
Anything but Spider-Man. No more Spider-Man.
Oh, come on. Okay,
No, I'm done with
anything but
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, but Marvel related?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Marvel's still on the table?
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay.
I would do DC even.
Yes.
Or something even.
I'm big into DC.
Entirely.
Yeah, I think I do a spoiler show. So for people tuning in now, I don't know if it's probably time to do a plug. I'll be talking spoilers about superhero stuff, and Moon Knight is the fresh topic. Any Disney Plus show I happen to cover on my YouTube channel, Jesse's Brick Galaxy. So you can see me, maybe Troy, Willie, and Larry Legend on my channel talking superheroes. We're going to definitely collaborate. 7 o'clock Central. So
6 o'clock Pacific. Or no, 5 o'clock Pacific.
5 o'clock Pacific. And we'll We'll collaborate again, just to bring it back full circle. We have not decided yet. It was a huge milestone to get to this point, and we needed a break. So I think we're on kind of we're decompressed, I'd say, fully now, and ready to talk about it.
Now you can focus, but it took you 2 years, though. We should step back.
It almost didn't happen. It almost didn't happen because of how long we had to wait. So
right.
I mean, we planned to do 1 year collab, but you know, things had other the environment didn't allow that. So we were going to do a video only thing, and thank God we decided to physically get out there and put this on display. And props to everyone at BricksCascade.
Oh yeah, and it was their 10th anniversary too. I'm wearing their 10th anniversary shirt. And that's another thing, is it was a really special con because it was their 10th anniversary too. And a couple people in the chat, Brick Literacy's like, you don't have to tell us. He was just curious about what it was. Somebody asked about Spider Pig. Spider Pig was already done, and it's not part of Spider-Man. Yeah. So we already heard about that.
Yeah, we'll do something, but the sky's the limit with Lego, but it'll be superhero. You know, that's our thing. It's almost like we have a superhero look.
Has to be superhero. Well, I'm with Hooded One here. DC rules, and there's plenty of though I will say Batman has been done so many times that it would be good to take a smaller character and kind of build off of that. Yeah. But I would love a DC one. And then Lena's suggesting Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles if you're into superheroes. But all right. So your show, you mentioned 5 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Central. What day of the week?
Sundays. Superhero Spoiler Show on Sundays.
So later today.
Yep. Yeah. Today. Yeah. So I have a few hours.
Okay.
And then I'll be on my channel. And then Troy's on tomorrow, so Troy can talk about his show.
Right.
Yeah, so I just started a new show on my YouTube channel. First time I'm doing streams every week, dedicating myself. It's called Mock Day, which is on Monday, and I try and have new people on every week to talk about custom creations or MOCs that they've built, and it's also a segmented show, so we'll go through talking techniques and ways that you can get inspired to kind of build your own creation out of the Lego bricks. So it's really fun and very educational.
It is fun. I tuned in last week.
Yeah, so I'm just starting it. There's still probably some bugs to get out, but sooner or later it'll be a nice, well-oiled machine, and hopefully you guys will get something out of it. So.
And that is going to be a lot of fun. And just to give people some places to go, you just heard from Troy, agents_of_mock on Instagram. Also you're on YouTube. Is that the same handle you use on YouTube as well?
Yes.
And
then without the underscores.
Oh, okay. And then for Jesse's Brick Galaxy on Instagram for Jesse. And he's not here, but if you wanted to also follow iceberg_bricks on Instagram, you can see a lot of their work that way. Well, once again, thank you so much for being on the show. It was just such a pleasure learning about your process and just the creativity, the Thor hammers, the collider, and all of that. I do hope you consider Doctor Strange as one of your options for the future. Then also something from the DC universe. But of course, we know you're going to pick the best one for you. I've been so enthralled just having a chance to learn your process. And that's part of what this segment is, Builder Insights. Next week, my show is called Mock Improv. And if you are interested in being a part of Mock Improv, either next week or in the future, let me know. This is where we build on a 16x16 and we get feedback from the audience about the location and the activity. And remember I talked about my ramen shop earlier? Well, that came out of a mock improv where we had to show the character juggling fish in a ramen house.
Wow.
And then after that show, the three of us showed our different versions. And then I said, you know what, I could make a modular out of this. And that's what I did. So it's been a fun show. I've been running that for probably about 10 months now. Yeah. So if you're ever interested in that, Sundays, I tend to do different shows. It's like a variety show. So this is Builder Insights. I'm going to plan to do this once a month, usually the first week of the month. And really appreciate you both being here on the show. And for anybody who's interested, I'm going to just double check on the chat. Yeah, Doctor Strange, Multi-Universe of Madness. Definitely Joel's big on that. Indie comics would be cool. Okay, Brick Literacy throws this out there. You say no more Spider-Man, but we'll see what happens when the next Spider-Man movie comes out.
It won't matter. It won't matter.
That's so funny.
I'll do Spider-Man still.
Now, Lena wants Spawn. It's like, okay, that's getting out there.
In the realm.
And then, yeah, we're talking about mock improv. So Joel says maybe he'll watch a mock improv sometime too. Yeah. Okay. Well, I just wanted to say thank you again. Everybody in the chat is saying thanks, guys, and really appreciate everything that you're doing. Once again, you're listening to the Brickanista Broadcast Network. I'm Naomi, the Brickanista. Really appreciate everybody being on the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I always forget to say that on
like
YouTube.
And subscribe.
But like and subscribe, and help with the channel. I've been doing this for a little over a year, and I've just been loving it. And if anybody wants to send me snail mail, there's my address, P.O. Box 31956, Seattle, Washington, 98103. So once again, thanks everybody for being on the show. Jesse and Troy, if you can hang out after the broadcast is over, really appreciate it. I'll tell you a little bit more about the backstory of what was happening. So thanks everybody.
Thanks for having us on the show.
Thank you.
Yep. And as they say on the Brickanista Broadcast Network, may the clutch be with you. Take care. Bye.